What's up, everyone? This is the Next Tape podcast with Mikel, and
Tanyka.
where we have conversations on different topics. So, on today's episode, we're going to be, talking about different topics. So, what other topics are going to be on this episode, Tanyka?
So we're going to be talking about a class action case with Tim Hortons, well, against Tim Hortons, and whether or not that has any merit. The province is also arguing against school psychologists, and teacher unions are joining gender identity lawsuit. I think that's all like combined there. And then we're also going to be talking about AI pinpointing where psychosis originates in the brain.
Okay. Let's begin this episode.
Tim Hortons says that there's no merit to a proposed class action lawsuit regarding emails it sent out in error to participants in its popular Roll Up the Rim promotion. LPC Advocate Inc. has launched a proposed class action suit claiming about 500,000 customers received an email on April 17th saying they had won a boat through Roll Up the Rim. Obviously, that many people cannot win the boat. I'm pretty sure they only have one boat to win, and 500,000 customers can't win one. So the law firm says the boat is worth about $64,000. The proposed lawsuit, which has yet to be certified, claims the defendants are owed the boat as well as damages. Tim Hortons says the email was sent through human error, and once the company became aware of the mistake, it quickly notified the affected customers and apologized. It says it believes the lawsuit has no merit and it will address this through court. So that's basically the end of the article with that. I kind of agree with Tim Hortons. I don't think this case has any merit. It was an accident. Common sense would say that 500,000 customers cannot win a boat. And I feel like this is a way for people to just start a case against Tim Hortons. We Roll Up the Rim is, I understand like you would be excited that you won a boat, but then when you find out that that was an error, then you move on. You don't start a lawsuit because there was a human error. And obviously, $64,000, if that's how much the boat's worth, like 500,000 people can't start a case, a class action case, which I mean, sure you can, but you're all not gonna, by the end of the day, whatever the damages are, and if the cases were the boat itself is worth $64,000, and I don't know what damages you incurred by not winning this boat, but sure, pain and suffering, I guess. I don't.
So basically, the lawsuit was based on the Roll the Rim, right?
Yeah, and people winning the boat, or thought they won the boat.
So people who thought they won the wit,
So the Roll of the Rim has many different prizes, right? One of the prizes is the boat.
To vote for
the boat, the
B-O-A-T, the boat. Oh, yeah. You sound like you're saying boat.
No, boat.
Oh, okay. So the boat is worth $64,000. That's what you. Okay. So how many people were suing Tim Hortons for it? Is it just one, or is it just?
It's a class action, so it's going to be multiple. But okay. I don't know if all 500,000 customers who were told they won are suing. I'm not sure.
So they won the boat.
An error.
So it's an error.
And Tim Horton sent out an email saying this was an error. You didn't win the vote. But now people are suing because they thought they won the vote, even though they didn't actually win the vote.
So was the boat promoted on the cup?
It would
I
be.
would say. Hmm.
But not everyone wins the vote. It's one prize.
One prize.
Right. So only one person can win the vote. Now, obviously, these 500,000 customers, they're not all going to know each other and don't know that someone else has also quote unquote won the vote. But it's one prize. It's not like, winning a free donut or something like that, right? It's one major prize. And yeah, it was an error. That's it.
I don't know about that. Okay. The thing is, it's like an error. So when they won it, when the person won, did they win it or did they warn them before they win it?
What do you mean?
So they did the customer won it after or before Tim Hortons announced it, or did they want it after Tim Hortons announced it?
So I think what happens with the boat, or like, I think they also have like car, and I think they also have a property or something like that. And again, these are prizes that you don't keep forever anyways. You only keep it for a year. But
Really?
Yeah, you don't keep it forever.
Does it say on the fine print?
I think so.
Damn.
Yeah, I've known that for years.
I didn't know. So if you actually, do you actually win money?
You can win money. You keep the money, but
Okay.
those big like physical prizes like that, it's only a year. You don't keep it forever.
Wow.
So basically, I think what would have happened with those types of prizes is you are probably automatically like, what's the word I'm looking for? You're automatically shoot, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you're part of the pot, I guess, to win like the boat or the car or something like that. So you probably are being handpicked or picked or whatever to win that thing, but of course it's only one person. So I think probably what happened is they accidentally sent out an email to 500,000 people who could be potentially all the people who've partaken in Roll Up the Room to win this prize. And then they sent that email out, but they sent it to 500,000 people when maybe it only should have been going out to one person. It was an error. So I think that's what happened. But again, like, you didn't win the vote. You didn't win it.
Tim Hortons just give them the vote. You have the money.
It's one vote though. It's one vote. You can't give it to 500,000 people. They didn't win the vote. End of discussion. They didn't win the vote.
4,000 to 500,000 people.
That's not even going to be split. Everyone's making $1. Everyone can basically afford enough to buy a donut. Maybe not even that. Maybe a Timbit. Like
500.
Okay, you can do the math. Sure.
Oh, that's not the. So, hold on.
I think it's not just.
Yeah.
They're not just suing for the boat, the price of the boat. They're also suing for damages, which basically is just kind of like, again, I don't know what damages you would have incurred besides pain and suffering. But again, like, that's minimal. So I can't imagine how much people are going to get from whatever settlement. But they're probably not going to get anything. Any of these people who are a part of the class action, honestly, you're probably putting more money into a class action case than you'll ever get out of it.
It looks like 3.2 million.
Okay. Again,
They
that
can afford
is
that.
they're never going to get 3.2 million. They're never going to. They're never settling for 3.2 million.
2 million boats. That's reasonable. Tim Hortons.
And but let me explain how the law works. They're never getting $3.2 million. You never get the full amount you sue for. You never do.
Yeah, I know.
You never do. So they're never going to get 3.2 million. Maybe they'll get $1 million. Maybe. But again, that is $1 million going towards fees and disbursements, which is probably going to be hefty. And then whatever is left is going to go to whoever is a part of this class action. And that is going to be minimal.
I mean, they're doing a good thing for the community, aren't they? You know?
What do you mean?
Tim Hortons, you know, that's a good thing for the community.
I don't understand how that's a good thing for the community.
I mean, like giving them boats. You know,
it's one boat. It's one boat.
I mean, they can buy more.
They only ever do one boat.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm just playing with you. It's just like, you know, I mean, I think something like this happened like years ago too. Like I heard something like with the Tim Hortons and Roll Up the Win, and I think 3 people won the Roll Up the Win contest, and
well, what did they win? Roll Up the Rim is you win something.
They won the money.
Okay.
Right? I think 3 people won the money. If I heard the story right. And Tim Hortons announced that it was a mistake, and then someone sued them as well. So I don't know if they won or they lost or they just settled. But yeah, that was another story. And I bet there's a lot of stories that, you know, in the past that has to deal with the Roll Up the Rim contest. So like yeah, and it's crazy that happened, and didn't they, like, you know, look onto this, like, you know, see if like the cops would, you know, do something like this, or like, you know, the machine who like print out the cups would do something like that? Do they like make sure that this doesn't happen?
First of all, I don't know if that's how it works when you're winning the boat, though. I think that's the most important part. With the money, I believe, yes, that is how it works with the cups. But they don't use cups, physical cups anymore for Roll Up the Rim. They stopped doing that forever when COVID hit.
So
they do it on the app now.
Oh, technology. That's why. Okay, I thought.
But they're saying an email was sent, not just like the app glitched. They're saying an email was sent in this case.
Oh, okay. So, I thought it was I thought they still do the cups.
They stopped during COVID. Like Roll Up the Rim during the first year of COVID didn't even happen. And then they did it through the app. So it's been always through the app since. I forgot they have an app. Yeah. No, I didn't know that they got rid of the cup program. Okay. No. Well, that changes everything. Yeah. Yeah. Things like that would happen if you're using that app. Yeah. Like errors. Because you're using an app and that involves technology. So yeah. Again, I think there's no merit personally, because I guess that's how my brain works. It's like you had to have been directly affected by something to bring. I personally think this case will get dismissed.
Oh yeah, it will.
It's being there's no way this is being dismissed. This is. I don't know who the lawyer is, but I think you're dumb for taking this case on. Whoever you are.
They want the money, you know? Yeah.
but they're not going to get the money, especially if they're working on contingency.
Yeah.
They're not getting the money.
Here's the thing. The lawyer is also getting some exposure with this, so he might get some clients.
True, but again, I think again, if any law firm is taking on the class action, I think they're okay. But I feel like something Diamond and Diamond would do. Anyway, I don't know if it's Diamond and Diamond that's doing it, but we joke about Diamond and Diamond in my firm.
That's the commercial that, you know.
But Diamond and Diamond is they're crooks. There's been a lot that's come out about them.
Oh, you heard? Mm-hmm. Oh, you heard about them? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
They're from Toronto too, right? They're not from America.
What do you mean, Diamond and Diamond?
Diamond and Diamond is in America, is that right?
No, Diamond and Diamond is here.
It's here.
It's in Canada. It's in Ontario. They're not just in Toronto. So they're Ontario. Yeah. But yeah, there's no merit. Like you had to be directly affected, and I don't know how you're directly affected by not winning a boat. So you can't go on the waters with your new boat. Oh well, get over it. It's dumb. Yeah. If you're stupid and you bought things that you can use on your boat before getting the boat, that's on you. You have to swallow that cost. Sorry. Like, basically, if you put the cart in front of the horse, then that's their problem. That's not Tim Horton's problem. Anyway.
I agree now. So, like, I had to fully understand, like, the clubs. I thought it still did the clubs, and if it had to do like some with the app, and it's not technically Tim Hortons' fault type of way, because like
even if there was a cup, it's still not Tim Hortons' fault. Well, maybe the cup, yes, if they're printing millions of that, yeah.
You should make sure that doesn't happen if you're printing cups.
Maybe you would have a little bit more of a merit in that case. Yeah, I hear you what you're saying. But yeah, with the app, like apps glitch. But in this case, it's not the app, but they're literally saying it's an email. They sent an email.
So whoever sent, if it's the email, if they sent the email, fire that person that did that. You can't let that happen again, in my opinion. Now if it's like what do you call it, I know a lot of companies use a program or a software to send emails. They don't technically like handwrite it, figure it out or whatever. They use a program to write emails. So like, and if it's the software fault, then I would say it's not Tim Hortons' fault. It's whoever they're with in terms of the software, and they're just writing the emails on there, and then it just got sent out that they won the boats. So but yeah, it's not their fault.
Yeah. So this is an article for New Brunswick. So the New Brunswick government wants to block the unions representing school psychologists, teachers, and support staff from joining a lawsuit against the province's gender identity policy for schools. So the Canadian Civil Liberties Association filed a lawsuit last fall. At issue is a policy that required school staff to get parental consent before they can use a student's chosen name and pronoun if the student is under 16. So the Civil Liberties Group argues the policy goes against the Provincial Education and Human Rights Acts and breaches students' charter rights. The unions are 3 of 9 organizations that have filed to become part of the case. They say they would be able to provide the perspective of school staff who are required to follow the policy. They say the policy could force them to breach children's rights by denying their request for particular name or pronoun, and it also violates their freedom of expression. I mean, again, okay, before I finish the article, when it comes to, if saying someone's name that they choose, if they are transgender, or if they are non-binary and they want their particular pronouns to be used, I do think a conversation has to be had with a parent. I think a parent should be going and talking to the school and saying, listen, my child identifies as this, this, and this is their pronoun, whatever. I do think that should be happening, but I don't think a written consent or something needs to happen. I think we have to remember that kids are human as well and deserve the same rights and respects as adults, especially when it comes to something like this. I think doing a consent is a stretch. It's kind of, so without the consent, it's like you're just going to use a person's dead name or mispronoun them. Like, that's unfair, I personally think. And this is not necessary. But let's continue. So Clarence Bennett, the lawyer representing the province, said this case is about the students' rights, not the rights of the staff. He said the unions have nothing to add to the case. Joel Mikel spoke on behalf of the New Brunswick Union, representing school psychologists and social workers, as well as the New Brunswick Teachers Federation. In an interview, he said union members are caught in the middle of this policy, and whatever that's decided in court would affect them. That's why they want a seat at the table. The issue will be debated. All we want is the opportunity to be there and to contribute to this debate. Bennett argued the unions have filed grievances, and that's how they can have their voices heard. Mikel said that typically issues would be resolved through the grievance process. I don't know a lot of information about the grievance process. I don't know. So, but in this case, the lawsuit is brought by someone who's not the employer or the union, so the union's voice won't be represented unless they intervene. Glenn Gallant, who is a lawyer for QP Local 2745, which represents educational and clerical support staff, said being a school staff member comes with a level of trust from the students, and the policy potentially requires that they break that trust. Which I agree. The Civil Liberties Association has been waiting for documents related to the province's decision to change policy 713, but Bennett said in court, probably this would have been a few months ago, that the province is not to blame for delays in the case. He said even though the association filed a lawsuit in September, they were only granted public interest standing in December. So this case has only been going for about a year. He said the association was also asking for a lot of records. He said there's another lawsuit about the same policy filed in Moncton recently as well. He said the province was given a deadline in that other lawsuit, which is taking up resources. There's absolutely no urgency, they say, which again, I've talked about this. Things move very slowly in civil litigation, especially since the policy has been in place and the school year is almost over. During the hearing, so this would have been, I guess, back in May or June. During the hearing, Justice Richard Petrie said he does see urgency. He sees this as a priority. But at the end of the hearing, he said he will do his best to decide on all intervener applications by May 6th. So we'll see if, I don't know if that actually happened, where things are at now. But I think, again, I just don't understand why there has to be policies in this sense to to call someone by the name they choose or the gender they choose. Yeah, like I was saying, I just don't understand. Like, just use the name they choose, use the gender they prefer to go by. And again, I think they're confusing sex with gender. Your sex scientifically is either male or female. We know that gender is different. And I just think, like, their sex is whatever it is, male or female. Gender is a whole other different concept. And just respect people. I think that's the main thing, just respect people.
Yeah, I agree. Just respect people at all, shapes or form, race, color, and yeah,
I think the main thing here, though, is just respect people's identities in terms of how they identify, whether that's transgender, non-binary, whatever. Just respect them. It's not hard. Okay, next and our final topic. So we're going to be talking about AI, maybe doing some stuff on the medical front. So new brain scans from people with psychosis may confirm a long-standing theory as to why people experience these sudden breaks from reality. The theory states that in psychosis, brain networks in charge of directing a person's attention malfunction. This causes a person to experience hallucinations or sensations of things that aren't actually happening, and delusions or unshakable false beliefs. Psychosis is a feature of serious mental disorders such as schizophrenia, but its symptoms exist on a continuum and can also occur independently of any defined mental disorder. The precise details of what happens in the brain to cause psychosis have long eluded scientists. One reason for this is that psychosis is often studied in people who have long been taking antipsychotic medications, so it's difficult to distinguish brain changes tied to the condition from those linked to the drugs. A goal of the new brain scan study published on April 11th in the journal Molecular Psychiatry was to pinpoint the underlying mechanisms involved in psychosis from an early age, which could help pave the way to early diagnosis and better treatments. The abnormalities do not start when you are in your 20s. They are evident when you are 7 or 8, which was said by the lead study author, the name, Kashipakar, I'm sorry. We'll just say the lead study author, a clinical associate professor of psychiatry and behavioral sciences at Stanford University School of Medicine. To spot these abnormalities, the study focused on people ages 6 to 39 with a rare genetic condition associated with psychosis called 22q11 .2 deletion syndrome. People with the syndrome are missing part of one of their copies of chromosome 22, in addition to having a risk of other conditions such as heat abnormalities, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and autism. Those affected with the syndrome have a roughly 30% chance of experiencing psychosis, schizophrenia, or both. Very interesting. I did not know that. Yeah. The team collected brain data using functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, which tracks changes in blood flow that correspond with brain cell activity. There were nearly 900 people involved, including 101 people with that 22q11 deletion syndrome, some with psychosis and some without, and 120 with psychosis of unknown origin. So they had a wide range of test studies. In addition, the study included people with no history of psychosis for comparison, as well as people with ADHD and autism, which classification studies rarely do. And that was led by Dr. Rick Adams, who is a fellow in mental health neuroscience at the University of College London, who was not involved in this study. He said this was a big plus because it helped show that the brain signatures they found are specific to psychosis and not seen in other brain-related disorders. Adams told this to Live Science in an email. With help from colleagues in computer science at Stanford, the team created a new machine learning algorithm to uncover patterns in the fMRI data. The tool revealed overlapping quote-unquote signatures in the brain of people with 22q11.2 deletion syndrome and associated psychosis or psychosis of unknown causes. So these signatures, which did not appear in any of the comparison groups without psychosis, showed up in two key components of what's known as the brain's salience network. The network's job is to dynamically switch our attention between internal thoughts and external stimuli, essentially directing our attention to what's more important and real. The brain scans show that two nodes in this network are most crucial to psychosis. The anterior insula, which works to filter out unimportant information, and the ventral statrintum, which predicts which information will be most rewarding or important to us. So these results fit with prior hypothesis about the disorder. Adams said this. They built upon theories about the salience network and psychosis that were based on the brain's structure rather than its function, as well as more recent work that started to look at its function. The study also backs up work done in earlier studies that investigated the brain mechanisms behind psychosis in 22q11.2 deletion syndrome as well. The researchers now plan to target these two key brain areas with existing treatments, such as brain stimulation, to see if they can prevent or delay psychosis in people at high risk of the condition. They also plan to study how antipsychotic medications affect these parts of the salience network, which to reveal exactly how they work, which I think is a really great idea. That's basically that. I think that's pretty interesting too. I mean, I don't deal with psychosis. I don't know what that experience is. I did not know psychosis was also linked to people. Schizophrenia, yes, I knew that. But with people with ADHD or autism, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. So it's kind of good to see. I mean, AI is doing something good, I guess.
Yeah.
Been writing people's essays and whatever.
But that's why I said there's like positive and negatives into AI. So
AI still scares me though, so that doesn't change anything. Doesn't change my thoughts on AI. Still scares me. But anyway.
So this ends this episode of the Next Tape Podcast. And Next Tape Podcast is available now on all podcast platforms. We also have a website called solo.to/Next Tape Podcast. Tanyka, where else are we at?
We are on Facebook and Instagram at Next Tape Podcast, and Twitter and TikTok at Next Tape Pod.
Okay, and also you can contact us on our email at mikeltanyka@gmail.com. That's mikeltanyka@gmail.com. So we talked about a couple of things like the Tim Hortons lawsuit, the second. What's the second one? Forgot about that one.
That one was the Teachers Association and the non-binary and
non-binary. Okay.
policies.
and then a um is it the AI
The AI detecting
detecting?
the where psychosis is originating in the
Okay.
brain.
Right, right. Cool. All right. Anything else you want to say? Uh, Otherwise from that, or well,
Well, this is coming out in December, so I guess we can kind of just quickly talk about. Um, I think actually we're still getting right into the December episodes, the Christmas episodes. So
mhm.
again, if you want to partake in by watching the movies prior to listening to us, you can do so, and you can watch the movies, and these are in order. We're doing Elf first, so that's actually coming out this week. Um, we're going to be also doing the Santa Claus, the first movie, the Tim Allen movie, and we're also going to be doing the Home Alones 1 and 2. So that in that order. But yeah, that's if you want to watch before listening to us, you can do that. That's it.
Okay. All right. Tune in. All right. So I'm Mikel, and
And I'm Tanika.
we're out until next week, guys. Peace.
Bye.